some inspiration. I ain't plan on breaking the bank. Cause I think
okay guys, so it is the next morning. Yes. And so I got up like at 7:30 and we had to be out at 8. So that's why I look a little beat. But like I wasn't planning on putting on makeup. But I'm upset because like my shades, I had them in my pocket. I don't know where. I think a ghost took them. Cause like,
Did you not put on my book bag?
no, I had them in my pocket when I walked out the room. And I heard something drop. And I went to go look for it and I didn't hear it. But it's whatever. So we're on our way to the dining hall to go eat. Yup. Get some cereal, some waffles. I'm sorry, I got this thing on my head. And okay. That's that. And then after this, we go back to the dorms to catch the bus. When we go back to the dorms, I'm gonna go and try to run and grab my glasses.
All gonna go to college. You are all gonna be successful, and you will be the people that represent Bridgeport. You'll be able to say, actually, no, I come from Bridgeport, and this is who I am. So you should be proud of where you're from, and wherever you go, you should represent Bridgeport, because Bridgeport is your city. Okay? All right, so we're gonna practice this. I'm gonna actually hand it over to Miss Brown over here, so she can pump you up. Come on, Miss Brown. Okay. So it's H-U, and then you know. I got this. Okay, so we're gonna do it. Okay. H-U. You know. Okay. No, you didn't represent me. Okay. H-U. Okay. We're gonna try one more time. I thought we had some rhythm. I thought we had some rhythm up in here. H-U. You know. Alright. So I heard an AKA in the background in the making. H-U. You know. H-U. You know. H-U. You know. Hey. About HBCUs, and that's what Howard University is. It's a historically black college. So there's a lot of really cool things about the school. If you have questions, ask them. And just don't be afraid to ask any questions. We will visit the bookstore. So if you want to get any Howard gear or anything like that, we'll be visiting the bookstore. So you'll be free to purchase things that you like. So we're going to get off the bus now. We're going to walk across the street to, I believe that's the chapel or the auditorium, and that's where Marquise is going to meet us to get our tour started. All right. H-U? You know.
But this is what we consider our yard. It's our traditional like quadrangle, and this is where a lot of academic spaces and social life kind of happen. So the good thing about this is that you'll see kind of both when it's the academic suite, especially this spring semester. So you'll see people right here in this area sitting, relaxing, doing double dutch. You'll see students kind of walking in between classes. You'll see people going into the cafeteria. So it's a very like lively and upbeat part of campus. So if you look right there, that's Children's Hall. That's our Division of Fine Arts. So when we think about Howard University and some of the actors that came here, like Felicia Rashad from The Cosby Show, or Taraji P. Henson from Empire. I don't know if y'all watch BET's The Game. I don't know if that's kind of y'all time frame, but Wendy Raquel Johnson, she was there as well. So we have a lot of like actors and actresses and people who are in like the fine arts that kind of came out of that space. So that's also what makes Howard very cool. This building right here is Douglas Hall, so if you're interested in things like political science, history, if you have any interest in being like in the ROTC, those are where those academic programs are housed right there. It's named after Frederick Douglass, abolitionist. He served on our board, so again, Howard has a lot of history with the larger black community. And if you look right there, that's Blackburn, that's our student center, so that's we have our cafeteria. We have places where the elected officials, like, they have their offices. I'm sorry. What else is in Blackburn? Right now in Blackburn, they're renovating it because they're gonna reinstall our bowling alley and our social space at the bottom of campus. So the good thing about Howard, you caught it during the summertime, but it's a lot of renovation happening right now on campus for the fall semester, which is kind of cool. Now, if you look around here, you see the different painted trees. Those represent the Divine Nine organizations on campus. So those are the 9 black fraternities and sororities that have a long history at Howard, 5 of which were started here at Howard. Alpha Kappa Alpha, let me see if I can correct. Alpha Kappa Alpha, Delta Sigma Theta, Zeta Phi Beta, Phi Beta Sigma, so it's 4 organizations. They were started here, but all 9 are here at Howard University. And they've been here since 1907, so with the first organization being my fraternity, Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated Beta Chapter. Yeah, right there, if you look, that is Founders Library. That is a national landmark. So a lot of Howard University's campus are national landmarks. So the good thing about Founders Library is that because it's a national landmark, the government, we can't do too much to it. So it has this kind of antique feel to it. Like if you look at pictures of Howard from the kind of the 40s and stuff like that, it looks the same, and they kind of try to balance it with making it more modern. This is our Rankin Chapel. So again, this is another one of the oldest structures here on campus. The chapel is where we have, our religious services, but now because Howard University is so big, we no longer operate our chapel out of this space. We have it in front of Crampton Auditorium where you were just at earlier. Each Sunday, chapel services probably have about 400 to 600 people come to attend. But unlike most churches, it's ecumenical service, which means that it's rooted in a lot of different religious beliefs and practices. So we have a lot of different speakers from world-renowned speakers from all over the world kind of come to speak at our chapel services. It's really good. I don't go that often, but I wish I knew some of the people, but they're pretty impressive people that are engaged in religion, politics, things of that nature. So chapel is something that's really big here at Howard. It's so big that, of course, Howard University students come, but also people in the DC community come to attend our chapel services. And like I told you before, so Founders Library is right there, but if you, this side of Founders Library is used as the Moreland Spingarn Research Center. So I know that you all will be going to the new African American Smithsonian Museum tomorrow. Part of this building right here it has the distinction of having, let me get this right, it is the largest repository of Black history and memorabilia in the world. So that wall right there, that space right there, has more information, Black history, artifacts than the Smithsonian. It has a lot of it. It has everything. It has Frederick Douglass's papers, his diary. It has a Bible from Ethiopia from the 16th century. It's a lot of history in there. So you think about people like Dr. King and Rosa Parks. A lot of their papers and manuscripts are in there. So it's a lot of history, here in that building. 4th Street is where a lot of our dorms are. So if you come to Howard and you matriculate here and you are a first-year female student, you will most likely stay in probably that dorm, which is called the Harriet Tubman Quadrangle, or that dorm. So the Harriet Tubman Quadrangle is currently being renovated. It's going to open this upcoming fall, so it'll be open this August. And the cool thing about that dormitory is, let me describe it. So it's communal, so that means that you share a bathroom with people on your assigned floor. And most of the time it's a double, so you'll have another roommate. But the reason why girls kind of like that dormitory is because it's the oldest freshman female dorm. So let's say, for example, your mom came to Howard, your mom most likely lived in that dormitory. So a lot of people do it for that reason. But there's also a lot of history and tradition that kind of goes into it. So if anybody reads Toni Morrison, the writer of Beloved and Sula, she talks about her time staying in that dormitory. Felicia Rashad, stayed in that dormitory as well as Taraji P. Henson. But also the dorm kind of has because you share things that's communal, there's kind of a community aspect to the dorm that already exists, because you have to share things with your roommates. So girls kind of prefer that, that kind of element, sisterhood and being around people. Whereas we have that dormitory right there, which is called CHN, that's called Algebra North. That dormitory is not communal, so you just share a bathroom with your one other roommate. And, so if you're a person that kind of doesn't like to share stuff with other people, you might prefer that dormitory. But they say, it kind of lacks that sisterhood aspect to it, because you kind of live in isolation, you live with your one roommate. Screenwriting, directing, producing, this might be the place for you. So Howard University we have our own television network. Yeah, WHT TV9 something. That's what it's called. And we are the only black institution in the Mid-Atlantic region of this country. So I think that is like from Maryland all the way down to North Carolina to have our own TV station. So, you know, that's pretty cool to be a university and have that. And what that means is that, you know, our students are given first priority when it comes to, you know, creating TV content that they would like to see. So if you're someone that's interested in that kind of industry, that might be a benefit to you if you're interested in that. TV and film is also housed in there, strategic legal communication. So you're thinking about things anywhere from being a TV writer to a producer, maybe a lawyer in the courtroom, or, you know, a journalist. This is, you know, your academic building. Yeah, so I'm trying to think about anything cool about this. I mean, more so about this building. This building used to be a hospital, Freedman's Hospital. It kind of, you know, on the exterior you can kind of believe that this hospital looks like it. The oldest hospital in the country for African Americans, 1867, that was the Freedman's Hospital. Now it operates as our School of Communications. Right there behind us, that's our health sciences library. So, you know, we have a lot of, you know, books there. I'm interested in like nursing and being a medical doctor and, you know, things in that industry. Even though I'm not in that discipline, I kind of study in there because it's a nice, you know, study space. Not like the big windows. Yeah. They always have the help. Exactly. Right behind there, that's our School of Medicine. So our School of Medicine is just as old as Howard. Howard was started in 1867, so that makes us like 152. The medical school started right after in 1868. So again, I didn't really kind of give you a good idea of like the history of Howard, but Howard started in 1867, just 2 years after the end of the Civil War. 2 years, you know, and what is that, 4 years since the 13th Amendment, which made slavery illegal. So Howard was created at a time when black people literally were, you know, leaving the institution of slavery. So I think that's kind of what makes Howard a very special kind of institution, because 4 years after that, we had a law school, you know, 1868, you know, African Americans practicing law, African Americans practicing medicine, dentistry, all while getting a liberal arts college. So that was kind of unheard of, and I think that that kind of legacy of being kind of the first African Americans to do so has propelled us into this direction of Howard kind of being, you know, really prominent space for preparing you to enter kind of any field that you're interested in. I always tell people we might not have the #1 academic program for your particular major, but we have the #1 academic program for African Americans.
Our faculty members predominantly black, or is just like a wide variety?
So yeah, it depends on your discipline. So for example, when I was taking my what would you call those, like your general education requirements, I'd probably say 60% African American, 40% you know, white. And then as I got into my my major, I'm a history major and I study, you know, African American studies, history, United States history. So my professors now are mostly black, but it depends. So I have like you know, some friends who are studying things like classics. Their professors are mostly white. You know, business, their professors are, you know, business, actually they're black, but it really depends on kind of like what your, you know, your major is. But the good thing about Howard is I would say it's a very full range of, you know, kind of professors. You'll meet them. All of them aren't African American. Some of them are from, you know, different parts of diaspora. So I have a professor, for example, she is from Martinique. She lived in Germany, you know, so again, like you think about a black experience, she has a totally different one from me living, you know, growing up in Brooklyn. About, you know, what junior year kind of means for you in terms of the college, you know, process, because you all be juniors in the fall. And I would say for my junior year, it was definitely, I'm gonna be careful about the word that I use. It was a time, stressful is not the word, but what I'm gonna tell you is that, no, it wasn't that, because it was easier for me to kind of get everything together when it came to the college application process then, because you have enough time, right? So in February of my junior year, that's when I started the my college application. Well, what do you call it? I started the essay, right? So I started the essay, and that kind of put me like 9 months ahead of, like, you know, my counterparts when it came to applying to colleges, right? So because I started in February of my junior year, I was able to, you know, bust out a draft, have people look over, and by the time September came, I had applied to all my colleges. I had done early action. So what, you know, junior year is for you is a time for you to, you know, to continue to do well in school, build up that GPA, you know, add different things to your resume when it comes to like the things that you're involved in. but also it's a time where you can start the college application a little earlier. So you know that you're going to need a personal statement. So that's something you should start probably in the second, the latter half of your junior year. Standardized testing, preparing for that. That's something I recommend you do. Also during the second, well, you can start now your junior year because you take the exams in the beginning of your senior year. So when it comes to SAT and ACT, start preparing for those as well. And then also like finalizing your college list. So I was a part of a lot of like college access programs back in New York City. I don't know if they have them up in Connecticut. SEO, I don't know if that.
I don't think so.
OpNet. Okay, yeah. Well, we had those in New York City, and they're all over the country, but I didn't know if they were in Connecticut. But in those programs, they kind of made us, write a list of our respective colleges, and do the whole I kind of forgot what you can meet, Reach, Target, those schools, the different. Yeah, like the different goals that you have for the school. So, I would encourage you all to kind of start looking at that this year because you don't want to be in a particular part of your senior year where it's like you're scrambling. So I had friends who were, still applying to schools like January of their senior year, and I had none of those problems. By the time September came of my senior year, I was literally relaxing, just going to school, doing my work, and college had kind of already been applied to by the start of my, because in New York we start our senior year, we start school in September. So by the time September came, I had been ready and done with my college application process. So I would recommend that you all do that because it really does alleviate so much stress that kind of comes with, your senior year, because your senior year is going to be a lot. If you're going to college, if you're going out of town, out of the city or out of your state, you're thinking about kind of what role you're going to kind of play in your family, how things are going to change. You're thinking about things like work, you're thinking about how you're going to adjust. And you don't need kind of all those things kind of bombarding you at once. So I would definitely tell you to kind of space it out.
So we're at the Howard store. Our tour is finished now, but I want something that says Howard because I want to go. You want to go upstairs with me? Yeah. Okay, come on. Yeah.
So guys, if you download the app, you get 25% off.
Really? Yes.
So she can send it to you and you can take it off from you. Okay.
Okay.
Anytime over there.
Woo!
The champion was?
I have no idea, to be honest. All I heard was someone cash apping me money. Mima, come upstairs with us. Oh, download the app so you can get 25% off. It's pink.
Download what app?
The Howard app or something app.
To get what?
25% off. I want this for camp.
It's $20?
Yes, I want it.
The time is always now.
Downstairs.
But they're playing.
Oh, and he said that the 25% off for downloading the app is off the highest item that you get. So you would get the 25% off the cup. Because the cup's I'm gonna cut this way, Pat. That's too far.
As long as I'm not paying
Over $50, I'm good.
That's disrespectful.
We are. Somebody needs to send me money.
Where is it?
Right here. You can get the white one, you can get the red one, you can get this one, or this one. This one I think is just like that white one right there. Which one you want? I kind of don't want this one because the thing in the middle. But I kind of.
This is just simple.
It is simple, but I kind of like this because it has like. So I'm gonna get this one. I don't know what this says.
Not well. That's a medium.
That's a medium. Oh whoa!
I might get Geo small.
That's pretty
That
big.
big.
Okay, so take it off and try it.
No.
Okay, we're gonna put it back. It's fine, because the other one isn't there either.
That's really big. This is really big for a medium.
That's really big for these.
I can wear this to sleep. Is it for you?
You think I'm gonna try it on?
Okay.
I think these are adult size.
Oh, you're like putting it on?
You're trying it.
Do they have a? I don't want to be a part of this.
I don't want to be a part of it.
I don't.
I'm gonna go over here. I hear people.
There's people all over the store. Does it fit you?
It fits her though. Well, she has big boobs, that's why.
Nobody don't have big boobs. I mean, I didn't ask for them. And there's a shirt under this too. I kind of want to get a large though. Yeah, I think it's from Miss LaBoy. Oh, it is from her, I didn't think. Should I get this or a large? This is
Kind of tight. Get a large.
yeah.
So I'll get a small.
Ah, my hair.
I don't see an extra small, so I'll get a small.
For you or you?
For me.
Oh.
For you. I don't know. What's that?
A large.
Okay,
Where'd you find the large at?
$14.99. That's 15 plus 15. That's 30.
Yes. Plus tax.
Plus tax.
Let's just go with 32.
Okay, 32. Plus the bottle. That's
50
something. Okay, we're leaving the bottle.
Okay. Grab it.
It'd be like that, though, honestly.
Oh, that's cute. Let me see.
I will buy that and never wear it.
But it's $35.
I'm so self-conscious. I will
Wait,
never
pass
wear
it
it.
to me. This is an extra small. That's
Why though? This is not an extra small.
So that will fit me. I need like an XX.
This is an extra small.
This is like.
Yeah.
Oh no, it has something. It has something under.
Oh, it has something
Yeah,
for
it
boobies.
has boobies. And then yeah, okay. I thought it was just a tight tube top, so it would like.
Yeah, it's a bra inside basically, like a sports bra. So get it instead
Would
of
you
the shirt.
ever wear it out? No. Exactly.
So then, okay, then don't get it. That's a waste of a lot of money. Sis?
This will be new, right? It looks pretty.